Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. This is another review video. The last one I posted was like a couple days ago, like 6 days ago. And I know I said that I was probably going to make this review a couple days ago, like 2 days after I made that other one, but I was kind of reading this book slowly because I wasn't as invested in this book as I was in his other novel, Blind Date. So that's why it took me a little bit more time to actually get through this one. I could have gotten through it in like 2 days, but I just wasn't as intrigued. I wasn't as, just brought into the story, the plot, as I was Blind Date by R.L. Stine. So yeah, let's just get into the review. We're obviously reviewing Twisted by R.L. Stine. I will say that this was an interesting book. We're following these group of sorority girls who are being put to the test to join this sorority house called the Tree Gams. Weird name, but that's what the sorority house is called. And the main leader of it, basically, her name is Rachel, or not Rachel, her name is Andrea. There's a girl named Rachel, I think. But, yeah, her name is Andrea, and she tells them in order to join her sorority house that they have to commit a crime. So there's a couple of main characters. There's Jessie, there's Nina, there's Abby and Lila, who are our main characters, and Abby has this sister, Gabriella, and then there's a plot in the story where, and just so you guys know, there is a spoiler warning. I will obviously put it in the title of this video, and you guys should know by now that these reviews that I do are spoilers, so don't watch this if you want to read the book. But anyways, Abby and Lila used to be best friends, but not anymore, because Lila ended up stealing her boyfriend away from her, and her boyfriend's name is Gordon, so he ended up breaking up with Abby for her best friend Lila, and, Abby feels betrayed by this, but she still has so much care for, Gordon, and not so much for Lila, and, yeah, but it's been a year since those events happened, so they're all, trying to get into the same sorority, and Nina, the other girl, is a pretty big character as well in the story. Lila, Nina, and Abby all know each other. So yeah, we follow the story. Andrea tells them in order to secure their place in the sorority house that they have to commit a crime. So they come up with a crime. They go on a little trip to this pawn shop, I think is what it was, and there's all this nice jewelry and stuff in there, and there's this old lady named Mrs. Driftwood, and they end up holding her at gunpoint. She ends up fainting, pretty much dying on the spot, from being scared, from being threatened by these girls. And yeah, she faints and she supposedly dies, and now all the girls are freaking out. They're like, oh my god, what's happening? So they go back to the, because they all think it's a joke at first. Some of them think it's a joke, some of them don't think it's a joke. So they end up going back to the hotel that they're staying at, and Andrea tells them that she's going to have to call the police because this wasn't a part of the plan, a part of the joke or whatever it was going to be. This is serious, you guys have to take this serious. And they have a gun, and the gun is supposedly real, but it has blanks in it, so it's not really going to do anything. So that's what was part of the joke. They weren't actually trying to kill Mrs. Driftwood, she just passed out and died, I guess. So yeah, now they're all back at the hotel, and they hear a gunshot, and they find Andrea's body, and Andrea is pronounced dead by one of the sisters, one of the pledges, and that is Jessie. Jessie also told them that Mrs. Driftwood was dead. She tested the pulse and everything, so she said that she was dead as well. So yeah, fast forward a little bit. Jessie and Nina were outside, and they seen this guy, Gordon. Nina knows Gordon, Jessie doesn't. And he's seen him running away from the house. And fast forward a little bit into the story, there's a whole storm. Gordon ends up coming through. They all think that Gordon was the one that killed Andrea. He had something to do with it, but he says he doesn't. And all the while, Abby is still crushing on Gordon. Like, he comes through a couple times in the story and shit, and she's all still trying to be all over him. And Lila's suspicious of this, and Lila wants to forgive her friend. She wants them to be best friends again, Lila. But Abby doesn't really want that. And yeah. And a little bit into the story, Jesse ends up locking Gordon into the room upstairs, because she's still suspicious and stuff. They're still suspicious of him. And Lila wants to speak to Abby, so they go up to Abby's room. And this is where the story really unfolds and where all the twists of the story happens. I will say the twists at the end of the story were pretty good. They weren't as good as Blind Date, but they were pretty good. So I'm gonna explain the ending of this story. If you guys don't want any further spoilers, if you don't want the ending spoiled or anything, then click off this video, I guess. But anyways, what ends up happening is, I had to get a drink of water, it's pretty hot. But what ends up happening is, Gabriella, Abby's sister, Abby doesn't actually have a sister. Gabriella is just this another persona that Abby follows. It's like her evil side, I guess you can say it is. So now Abby is trying to threaten to kill Lila, and so you're thinking that Abby is actually the killer, but that's not the case. We're about to get into the other twist of the story. But yeah, Abby's trying to kill Lila and stuff because she doesn't like that she stole Gordon away, and Gordon now shows up in the basement. They're all in the basement now. Gordon shows up in the basement, and even though I thought he was locked in the room, so I don't know how he ended up getting down there. I guess just for plot reasons, I guess you can say. But yeah, he ends up showing up down there, and he tries to help, but that doesn't happen. And yeah, Abby tries to shoot Lila, and then Gordon interferes, and a bullet goes off, and then we cut back to the other sorority girls upstairs, and they're trying to find this phone to phone the police, I'm pretty sure. And they hear the noise, they hear the racket, and is that the word, racket? But anyways, they hear the noise, and they go down to the basement, see them all scuffling around and shit, and they're like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? We have, like, oh my god, Abby's going crazy. Is Abby the killer? And that's when Andrea shows back up, and Andrea pretty much tells them that it was all a joke to get into the sorority house, and you pretty much know it's a joke, but some of the events that happen, you're kind of wondering, like, I don't know really if it's a joke or not, so it is kind of a big twist. But yeah, it all ends up being a joke at the end, and Abby has a serious problem where she's coping with this other side of her, Gabriella, and it's, you know, it's very sad, I guess, because she's kind of like the main character we're following. But, you know, it was a pretty good twist. It wasn't bad. So my all-around review for this book, I will say it was alright. It was pretty good. It wasn't as good as Blind Date. I'm just happy I'm finished the book. I probably won't ever read it again. Probably will, if, you know, I just wanted a second opinion on it, see if I like it after in a second opinion. But, yeah, that's pretty much all for the video. I'll probably give it like a 5, 6 out of 10, like a 5.5 out of 10. It was pretty good. It wasn't bad. I would recommend you guys read it if you want to, but I just spoiled the entire story, so I guess don't. But yeah, that's all for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And try and get me to 100 subscribers. If we get to 100 subs, then I'm going to do a push-up for every subscriber leading up to 100. So I'm going to do 100 push-ups for 100 subscribers if we get to 100 subscribers. So it'll kind of be like a milestone. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace out.